I'm very happy to welcome in my friend, a man who you all know, former presidential candidate, former senator of the great state of Pennsylvania, and a man with a new gig. We say hello to Senator Rick Santorum. Hello, sir.
You just called me CB, right? So.
Well, wait a minute. Now you're a CEO now, right?
Oh, that's CEO, CB. Well, okay, yeah, that's right. No, that's right, Steve. I'm just took the position of CEO of a great new company called Echo Light Studios, which is in the faith and family film space, and we're very excited about going and producing great quality content for families that is good, honest content and is honest about the role that faith plays in people's lives. So we're excited about that.
Well, I got to tell you, they could not have picked a more dedicated man with a greater family story and family dedication and family values to make it all happen and to be at the helm than you. And I really mean that, and I know I mean it. So congratulations. And what can we look for? I mean, we talking movies or TV shows or both?
Yeah, no, we're doing movies, and I come into the company. The company's been operating for about a year now, and we're just going to be closing our fund. It's a $20 million plus fund that we're closing here in the next 10 days to really get the company going. But it's been operating with other leadership, and I've come in and so we've got some films in the pipeline that. Some of them are really good. Others are not necessarily theatrical releases, but again, good wholesome entertainment. And so my job right now is to sort of figure out where we place them. Some are sort of made for TV, some are going to go direct to DVD, and we've got one or two that we really feel very good about as being theatrical releases, and probably looking at those. The earliest would be late this year or probably early next year.
Well, best of luck, my friend, and we're all excited. You come back when you're about to release them, and we'll tell the world. Okay.
Well, when we do our first big film, I'm going to make the rounds. That's for sure.
Okay, good enough. Okay, now let's talk about what took place today. I know that you're very affected by it, and I know what you said about it, but I want to hear it from you. In a press release, I know what you said about it. Let's start with we'll talk about both decisions. Start with DOMA.
Well, the real difficulty there is just a continuation of judicial activism. The courts in our country are not the arbiters of what is right and wrong. They are not the arbiters of what society should or shouldn't do. This is why we set up a constitution and divided power and gave very specific roles for each branch of government. And the Constitution was very clear, but most of the power remains in the people. And what the court did in the case of Roe v. Wade and what they're doing here with DOMA, and I'm sure we'll do in follow-up cases, is say, nope, we know better. We are going to make these collective moral judgments from the on high with 5 people, 5-4 narrow decisions, and in this narrow decision, casting anybody who disagrees with them is nothing more than people who are bigots or are folks that are just horrible human beings for not agreeing with them, is really, really damaging. It's just damaging for the court to take that role upon themselves to be the arbiters of all things, and then to sort of frame that argument in a way that's so damning to the other side is really, really harmful to the civil discourse in this country.
Yeah, Justice Scalia fired back in his dissent and blasted Kennedy and the way he wrote his opinion, saying that he has resorted to calling opponents of gay marriage, quote, enemies of the human race, and said, but to defend traditional marriage is not to condemn, demean, or humiliate those who would prefer other arguments, any more than to defend the Constitution of the United States is to condemn or humiliate other constitutions. To hurl such accusations so casually demeans this institution. And, this is something, look,
this is the discourse.
It is, but Senator, now we're seeing it extend to the court. Does that shock you?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't shock me because, I say this everywhere I go. I said this during my political campaign everywhere I went. I said, Washington does not lead this country. It is a reflection of this country. Whether it's the courts or whether it's the Congress, you see the kind of caustic argument that you see going on across America on this issue is the same caustic argument that you're seeing, that anybody who disagrees on this issue is, in fact, as Justice Scalia said, an enemy of humankind, is someone who is a hater, someone who's because there's no rational reason for someone to have a different opinion on an institution of marriage which has been defined as such for 2,000 years, that now if you hold this, or 4,000 years, now if you hold this point of view, somehow you're this evil person who just hates people who have a different lifestyle. That nothing could be further from the truth, and it really demeans. It demeans democracy to have debates phrased in such a way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Well, now let's talk about Prop 8. We had on one of the attorneys who argued this before the Supreme Court from the Alliance Defending Freedom, and he says that because the California state constitution says that an appellate court is the only court in California that can do away with a proposition voted on by the people, and a single judge cannot do so, because the Supreme Court vacated the appellate court ruling today in California, saying they had no right to hear it either because there was no standing there either. He's saying, slow down, Governor. Don't order marriage certificates because it's not going to happen so fast. And they're going back to court, although he wouldn't say how or when, to fight it on these grounds.
Well, I'm not I'm not into the legal minutia when it comes to standing and how different. I mean, all I can say in this case is that I'm at least thankful the court didn't do any more damage by actually ruling on the merits of this case. But I find it's almost incredulous to me that that in California, the process by which amending the Constitution was followed, the amendment of the Constitution was adopted, thus making it part of the Constitution. And I don't know how a court in California can decide that something in the Constitution is unconstitutional. That to me is just it sort of boggles my mind. And so I'm hopeful that Prop 8 will just sort of, this decision will sort of go and sort of be a legal how many angels on the head of a pin kind of argument, and we'll have another day to fight the California case.
When you look at today, how would you sum it up, and what does it mean for going forward down this slope with marriage?
Well, it seems to me that with the DOMA decision, and that's why I was happy that Prop 8 was not decided. It seems to me that the majority on this court is willing to uproot marriage all across the country, state by state. It seemed like it was a pretty clear indication of where they're going. Unless the court changes, I think eventually a case will come there and they'll take it. I can't express how disappointed I am that the court would feel that it's their role to do something like that. It is not. It should not be. And yet they haven't learned their lesson from Roe versus Wade, that after 40 years of Roe versus Wade, the issue of abortion is not settled. And the reason it's not settled is because the court tried to cut off debate and insert itself into the process, the natural process that our founders believed in, that society has to move and let these things work through the process that was established under our Constitution. That's not what the court's allowing to happen here either, and it's unfortunate. Will
your new role, Senator Santorum, as Ecolite CEO, will that affect your future political plans and possibly seeking the presidential nomination for 2016?
Well, unlike other folks who run for political office on occasion, I have to actually work when I'm not running for office, and so I have to provide a living for my family. And so I was actually working on a whole bunch of other. I was in the energy field doing some stuff in healthcare, and so I was sort of obviously working very hard to provide for my family. And now I'm just sort of focused on one thing as opposed to 4 or 5 things, which does not just distract me at all from looking at 2016 and staying involved in the fray. And Patriot Voices, which is our organization, is going to be alive and well. Hopefully, and maybe even with me doing some traveling in this movie business, I'll actually be able to get around the country even a little bit more and have an opportunity to maybe do a little politics when I'm doing some movie business.
When will we know? When will you know if you're going to throw your hat in the ring? I know it's very early, but still.
Yeah, I think look. My focus right now, and I've been working hard on this, is trying to get good candidates for 2014. We've got very important elections. I think we have an opportunity, frankly, with these decisions, gives us even more an opportunity. And President Obama's, again, authoritarian. If you look at what happened over the last 2 days with Obama's speech on climate change and this decision, if it's not apparent to the American public that you are losing your ability to make these decisions as to what's right for the country and keeping them with the American people, when a president can, through an edict, change the climate laws in this country, change environmental laws that clearly the Congress would not approve, and a court can do the same thing, you are losing freedom in this country. And hopefully Americans are going to wake up and see that this concentration of power in Washington is damaging to them and their freedom, and that's going to be a focus of mine and Patriot Voices between now and 2014, and we hope to get the Senate back and slow down some of this craziness.
All right, one question for you real quick. What about a Hillary, Chris Christie unity ticket in 2016? Because that's his only path ever to the White House. He can't win a Republican nomination. He can't beat Hillary as a Democrat. You can't win as an independent. He embraced Clinton at the Clinton Initiative and did not go to a conservative forum instead. Do you think that that's too far-fetched to even be real?
Well, you'd have to ask Chris Christie. I don't know. I haven't talked to Chris in quite a while. The Chris Christie I knew from years ago would not do something like this. But you know what? Being governor of New Jersey may change it. I have no idea.
All right. Listen, Governor, Senator, come back soon, okay?
Thank you, Steve.
All right.
I look forward to coming and talking movies next time. And
You got it.
For you.
You got it. Take care. That's Rick
Santorum,
ladies and gentlemen, right here on the Steve Malzberg Show.